Hi there, this is Luisa Heinzel. Welcome to episode 2 of the Crazy Craft Challenge. This crazy challenge is a collaboration with no other than Pam at the Paper Outpost. And this challenge is all about making some things for your junk journal in perhaps a little bit crazy and unusual way. It's all about having fun. This challenge is for you, for us, and just for fun. So let's go a little bit crazy and make some journaling cards today. So if you have perhaps missed episode 1, then please check out the info box. There's a playlist with all of the videos, with my videos of this challenge and with Pam's videos, of course, as well, so that you can catch up what you perhaps have missed. Today we are going to make 3 journaling cards, and the challenge is that we have to paint only with our fingers or our hands. We can choose the medium that we want to use for that by ourselves. So that means we can use some acrylic paints, some watercolor, some whatever, brushes, structure paste, or whatever we want to use. But we are not allowed to use a paintbrush or the normal tool to apply those medium. So we only may use our fingers and our hands. And the other thing that we want to include into those journaling cards are some printables. So Pam and I, we have exchanged some digital printables from our shops. So that we want to include into our projects. So what you can see here is from Pam's shop, everything what you can see here. And of course, I will also link those items down below in the description box for you. This you perhaps might remember from my last video of this crazy craft challenge. This is the rest from the blind folded clusters that I've made. And I want to use some of these letters here today as well. I have some of them here in their original size. I am so in love with those letters, I can't tell you. So I would like to use some of these today. And this is something that I've not shown you in the last video because I've not used that. So these are some wintry images. So cool and so vintage and so much. This set from Pam's shop is full of really, really awesome vintage images, wintry images, some birds, some other animals, and these are just gorgeous. And I've decided that I want to use some of those images today as a focal point for my journaling cards that I have to create in this challenge. I'm not totally sure if I can manage that today, but of course, this is just for fun and we will try our best and just do it. Okay, so perhaps you are new here and perhaps you are asking, how can I join this challenge? So as I said in the beginning, this challenge is just for fun. This challenge is nothing where you can win anything, or it's not a contest or something like that. It's just for fun, but of course you can join. You can do this challenge alone for yourself at home, and then you can post your result to Instagram, for example, and use the hashtag #TheCrazyCraftChallenge. You can also find that written here and in the info box so that you can copy and paste it to your post. You can also, of course, if you have a YouTube channel, make a video about this whole thing, and then you can also use hashtag #TheCrazyCraftChallenge so that we can find your videos and that the others who are watching this thing can also find your videos with this hashtag, so that we can all inspire each other and have perhaps in the end some videos and some more ideas for this 3 episodes of this crazy craft challenge. Okay, so I think we are going to start. Okay, so here we go. I have prepared 3 bases for 3 journaling cards, as you can see. The rule for this challenge says you can use any base that you like. So I have chosen some craft paper, but of course you can also use some book pages, some scrapbooking paper, some sheet music paper, or whatever you want. And perhaps you're wondering why my journaling cards are so big. So if I put my hand here on top, as you can see that they are really long, but my journal that I want to put them in later is really tall as well. So I have cut these to the perfect size that they fit into my journal really, really nicely. So of course you can use any size of journaling card that you want. You could also make them way more smaller, but please do what you want. But I thought perhaps it's a good idea to have a little bit bigger space because my hands are not so small as well. And I thought perhaps I need a bit of space to handle this challenge when I want to paint with my fingers and my hands. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to put some gesso, some normal white gesso here on top as some kind of a base. And then I want to layer my other things on top. Sorry, oh my goodness, this is really nearly empty. Okay, so that looks great as well, but perhaps we can use this effect later for some, perhaps later when we have finished that, the whole thing, perhaps we could spritz to the card like this. Okay, so I will just grab a full bottle of gesso and save this special effect for later. Hopefully it will work later as great as here. Okay, so here we go. I have another bottle of gesso here, and I just want, that's really liquid, to apply that here. And as you can see, I'm doing that on all of my 3 cards at the same time because I want them to be a little bit cohesive in the end. So I'm working on all 3 cards at the same time and doing my steps on all 3 cards. I mean, the first step on all 3 cards, then the second, then the third, and so on. And I thought we could perhaps do this like this. So I think this way we get some kind of a cool texture. This is a little bit thick. Okay, so let me just smear it around and then go over it like this, so that we perhaps get some kind of a cool structure here to this thing. Hopefully my camera can show that. This looks, I think, really interesting, even if we will see not so much of this later, only on the frame here. I think it could be really interesting, and that's a great way to, make some texture. And I'm just thinking if I want to leave this paper here as it is. Let's see. Okay, so let's do that here as well. Okay, so now I think I would like to add some scraps made out of Pam's letters here. We will just grab this, tear it, and since my journaling cards are so tall and since this is a rectangle, I want to have some rectangled scraps that I want to put to this background now as well. I don't want to have any weird shapes. So let's see, I think this looks really great. We can later on blend that to the background a little bit, I think. So what shall we use to glue that? That has to be a glue that is waterproof. So I think we will use some matte medium. You could also use some Mod Podge or something like that to glue this. But I would recommend to use a glue that's waterproof, because when we want to put some other things on top later, we have to make sure that our paper stays where it is when we have glued it. Okay, so since this is no paint, I think I'm allowed to use a paintbrush to apply this thing here. Otherwise, I would get a really big mess to my fingers, and I think I will have a problem. So, but I think this is not against the rules because this is no paint. It's a glue. And I will just make some kind of a background out of these scraps now. Okay, so now I want to blend those scraps a little bit to the background so that it looks not so bam and glued down. Now I will take really only a little bit of gesso and I will put that to my finger so that I can control it a little bit better. And then I will just go over the edges, especially there where the scrap meets the white of the background that we did before. I will just blend that to the background a little bit. Okay, so I think I'm really happy with this background. Let's see. Do you know this feeling? You have a background that you like, and then you know you have to put some things on top to finish this. I mean, this is not finished. This is some strange thing, but you like this background and you are a little bit afraid of putting something on top because yeah, the most of the background will disappear in a few seconds. And sometimes I'm a little bit confused about that. Why are we putting so much effort into a background? And then later on you will see not so much of it. But yeah, okay, so let's see. That's only my personal problem, I think. Before I want to go on with my idea, I want to choose 3 focal points from Pam's printable, because now I want to see where I can put the focal point, and I want to make some more layers and make some more collage paper with my hands and my fingers. I mean paint with my hands and my fingers. And I have to know what goes on top of those cards to see the colors, the size, and yeah, the position and everything to decide how I can go on. And I'm really not sure if I can manage to choose 3 of these images because they are all so gorgeous. I have thought about this little birdie here. He is really cool and so cute, so wintry and that stuff. He's a little bit small, but I think we could manage that to use him. Let's see. So I think I want to have some birds. I mean, this tree here, for example, it has also birds, but it's mainly, I think, a picture of a tree that would fit really well as well. Okay, so I think I will take a ruler and tear out those images that can work for this journaling card project. So let's see. I'm not sure if I want to use that, but if I not tear it out, I can't see how this will look. So I will first tear everything out of these sheets that I think could work for this project. Whew, okay, so I think that will be a really hard choice. I have this cute little owl here. Ooh. That would be really great. I think the colors would match really, really well. Even here it would be really great. Then I have another owl. This is a little bit more, yeah, some kind of a square. It's not a total square, but this is, yeah, longer than this. So I think, oh wow, to be honest, I haven't expected that this will match so well. I mean, when you try to plan such a project, you have something in your head, some idea, you have the rules of the challenge, you have to fulfill this challenge, and you can't think that until the very end. I mean, if I would have tried that out before, it would be not a challenge. I mean, I want to show you my real process and not something that's totally planned until the end. So this is a really, really big surprise for me now. This would fit really well as well, even if the colors are so bright here, but that would pop out really, really well from the background. Oh my goodness, I think I can't decide what I want to do. These three little guys here look so cute, so cute. Can we put 2 of those pictures to each card? I mean, I really don't know. I mean, I'm allowed to make 3 more journaling cards for my German video. That's the good thing about this, because I could choose 3 for this and 3 for the other 3 journaling cards that I have to make. But I can't decide. But this is, I think I like this even better than this. But that's such a hard choice. Okay, so let's see, what else do we have? Then we have these 2 cuties here. I'm just thinking if I want to. Yeah, I think that's better. I want to have those journaling cards cohesive, but different. So my focal point on this left card shall be on the top, as you can see here. And the focal point of this card shall be somewhere in the middle, and on this card somewhere on the bottom. That way they will look different, but they will be cohesive in the end, hopefully. So that's such a hard decision. This longer format of this owl picture would fit really well here. This is perhaps a little bit small, even if it looks really cute as well. Oh my goodness, I can't decide. I really can't decide that. This would also fit so well. What shall I do? I mean, that's perhaps a little bit too big, but I could always tear the white frame here. I've left it to see if it's perhaps better to leave it because of the white. But of course we could make that a little bit smaller if we want that. No, we will go with this owl. Okay, so decision made. Everything would work. I think also the trees that Pam has in her printables would work really well for such a project. Yeah. Oh. Okay, so now we have that. And now I want to have some more layers underneath of this focal point picture. And for that I would like to choose some different materials. I mean, we have this craft paper here. We have this paper where I have printed the printables, but I want to have some more texture and some more interesting things. Okay, so here we go. Here I have some tea bags. I have this coffee filter. Then I got a really sweet Happy Mail the other day, and in this Happy Mail there were some of these embossed papers. Some of them have this silvery things on top. Some of them are more neutral. Some white paper that's embossed, or I think that's even, this could be wallpaper, I'm not so sure. Then I have a piece of this fabric that originally was a shopping bag, and I've just teared a little strip, and this is some kind of a fabric thingy as well that I have coffee dyed the other day. I've just put some coffee on top, crumbled it up a little bit and let it dry, and when it when I make it flat again, then it has this really gorgeous pattern. Okay, so oh, and what I have on my desk here, and I just think about that now, is this little cute paper doily. And I think that could look really great as well, and this could give us some more texture as well. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to try to get some watercolor to these papers here, because I think this wintry thing could work great with some watercolor drops or patterns or something like that. So I will, ooh, that's great, haha, oh, look at this edge. Okay, so let's take that apart and put that somewhere here, and let's take perhaps some tea bags and put them here as well. And now I'm asking myself how I can manage to bring my watercolor here to this thing without using a paintbrush. That's, yeah, let's see. Can I, oh, okay, so that my finger fits into this palette, that's good. But that's the only good thing I can tell you about that until now. Okay, so let's spritz some water to the palette first, so that the watercolors can be activated a little bit. Let's see. I think we have brown here on the tea bags and this thing. So I think we could use some yellow mixed with green. So let me just try to, oh my goodness, take this out. I will mix that up a little bit with this little shit that I have here on my palette to get a color that's not too yellow. Take another finger for the green. Ooh, that's very green. That's not so good. Let's mix it a little bit perhaps. I think that's a great color. Okay, so let's see. I have some color now on my finger. Perhaps I can spritz water to my finger and then just dip it here a little bit and make some patterns. I think I need more water so that the color can flow a little bit more, and I think now you can't see anything anymore because my table is showing through this tea bag. Sorry. My goodness. Let me just put a white paper underneath so that you perhaps can see it better, and perhaps we can get a cool pattern to the white paper as well. Perhaps the white paper will be more interesting in the end than the tea bag itself. So perhaps I can crumble these up a little bit to get, oh, that's a great idea, perhaps, to get a little bit more interest when this dries. Perhaps it dries a little bit irregular, so let's see. And what we also could do is perhaps add some coffee. So I have some instant coffee here to mute that down a little bit. So I will just dip my fingers in here and let that drop to the tea bag. I don't want to have this extreme green there, but shall be still a little bit visible later. Crumble that up. Perhaps it would have been a good idea to use coffee instead of water from the very beginning to wetten this, but this is an experiment, so we are trying this out, and for the next time we know exactly what we have to do. So I will let this dry now. I will let this mostly air dry, I think, to get perhaps the most interesting effect out of this, so that these darker areas stay dark. Hopefully I can get this off from the paper later. Hopefully that will not stick to my paper here, but we will see that in a second or in a few minutes. I will put that to my heater and then we will go on with the other collage fodder. I think that looks so awesome. I love it. And I will take this coffee filter. I will just put some coffee on top so that it's soaked really, really well. Like this. And then I think I will try to spritz some white gesso to this while it is still wet. So I have some white gesso here. I've already watered that down so that I always have that at hand when I need it. So let's put that inside, and then how can I splatter to this now? Oh, like this. Not so easy without a brush, but that works. And that looks perhaps in the end some kind of wintry. The splashes get really big, but that's not the problem. I think I like that. And for this, I just want to make some black little marks with my fingers. Why is this so strange now? Because I think this contrast of black and white could work really well on those journaling cards. I don't want to have them too big, those little dots. I have to cut that off. Sorry, I have to cut this little strip off because that kills my nerves. So perhaps we can put some dots to a piece of this first. Let's see. Okay. And then we can use the bigger piece later. So I have some black, ooh, that's very big. Some black acrylic paint there that I've just watered down a little bit. Now I'm just making some of these little dots here. I think that looks really, really cool. Okay, so shall we make more of those dots? I originally thought they can be a little bit smaller, but the tiniest thing that I thought that I have is my small finger. But what about okay, so that's a little bit strange, but I think I like that. Okay, so we'll cut this, and it's really interesting, I think, how different this and this looks now. Oh my goodness, I can't show you, it's not dry, but the things that I made with my finger, I mean with this finger, look totally different than what I made here with this part of my finger here. That's really interesting, and I think that's a really cool effect to have this different looks of this. And now I'm just thinking if we can do something else, another black pattern to this, to have a bigger variety for our collage later. So what else could we do? I mean, we could perhaps try to apply some paint here, make our finger like this, ooh. Okay, so why not? Why not? Okay, so but this is really massive. It's not so detailed. It's perhaps we can we perhaps now use this strange bottle of gesso and spritz on top of that to make that a little bit more detailed? I don't know, and I don't want to spritz to my journaling cards, so I put them here out of the way. Let's see. Okay, so I don't know if that is what I wanted to have, but let's see. Come out. Yup. Why not? Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so I think this is texture, I would say. I wish there was a tool to make this. I mean, a tool that you can fill your gesso in and then just spritz it like that. Ooh. Okay, so I think in some areas this is really thick, and I don't know if we can use that because we want to glue the single pieces on top of each other. So I would like to try something here where it's a little bit thicker, what came out of my gesso thing. I want to try to smear that just like this or like that, so that those little splatters are still there and visible, but that the rest is a little bit more flat. Let's try something. I will just tear that here a little bit and crumble that up, and like this, and then I will put that into my coffee. This time it's not a children's sock that I put into my coffee. But perhaps this will look interesting in the end. Okay, so here we go. Everything is dry now and ready to collage on top of our journaling cards. These little guys here turned out really, really cool. I really love this effect with the gold and the coffee. I will definitely do some similar things like that in the future. And yeah, these little things here give me a little headache because, as I thought, they stick to my paper now. And of course, that's not what I want. So I will carefully try to get that off. Ooh. Yeah. Is this a fail, Louisa, or will that work? Okay, so I think we will get some really strange collage fodder out of this. But perhaps we can use some of those pieces. Or even the stuff that we get underneath on this watercolor paper. Whoa. Okay, so we have that. This has to dry now. You can see I have this black frame here, and I want to have something similar around the whole card later. I will do that with this crayon later as well and bring that around here. But for the edges of this card, I have something like a special plan because I want to apply something else with my fingers again. Okay, so this special thing is... Where is it? I have lost it. Oh my goodness. Hey. Ah, here. Okay. Is this texture paste opaque crackle. And I think we can also apply that with our fingers to this card and get a really cool crackle effect later here and there. And now I'm just thinking if I want to have that only in the edges or somewhere here as well. Okay, so let's bring it there where I'm sure that it has to go. So I will only take that out with my spatula to make sure that I don't get any paint into my container there. I will just apply that here with my finger, as the challenge says that I shall do it. Like this. And perhaps a little bit, only a tiny little bit here. And then I think I want to have that coming off from the top here. And now I can't see where it is because it's white on white. Hallelujah. Okay, so I will let that air dry, and then hopefully this will crackle nicely. And then I will just finish up the other both collages in the same way. Okay, so here we go with the first one. This is already dry, and as you can see, hopefully, this has crackled really cool. I really like this effect, but until now you can only see that when you look really close. And that's of course because I have put the crackle paste on top of the white gesso, and the white gesso is coming through now, and I have to do something to bring out this crackling effect a little bit more. So what I want to try is, I want to first of all get the edges of this paper a little bit like damaged. Okay, so that's not so easy. This paper is relatively strong. Okay, so perhaps when we make it wet, it will be a little bit easier. And now I'm taking this water-soluble crayon, and I'm just scribbling around here on the top a little bit, just to make it black here. And then, shall we spritz water so that it gets grayish? Or shall we spritz water and a little bit of coffee? I don't know. Let's try water first. We can always put a second layer on top if it's too gray. Okay, so just smear that around a little bit, and then turn it like this and wait. And you can see, hopefully, that this turns gray now as well. The little slots in between of the crackling get black now, and that makes this a little bit grayish. You can always, of course, go over this with your finger like this a little bit more if we want to have it a little bit more extreme. I'm just thinking if it's too much or if it's exactly what it needs. Yep, that's good. I think it's good when there's this black frame. Okay, so let's go on with that. Okay, so here we go. I think I'm nearly finished. I have sewn around here a little bit so that the focal points, those images from Pam's digital printable papers, get a little bit more some kind of a frame, and that you can also touch this frame and feel the sewing. I've also added a button on each card, and I've used the same buttons and the same thread on each card. As you can see, I've positioned them a little bit different on every card so that every card has a button, but that it's different on every card. And I've also backed all the cards with some paper so that I can journal here. I don't know if this will stay white or if I will spray some coffee later, or if I just leave them like they are. I don't know until now, but I have a really sturdy base to journal here now and a clean surface and that makes the card also really flat and really sturdy. I have sewn around the whole frame here, as you can see as well, on each card, and I really like this contrast between this black frame and the white sewing. That's really cool. First of all, I thought I want to have only the black frame, but then I thought, try it, and now I'm really happy about how this came out. And yeah, I really can't believe that I made all this collage fodder only with my hands. That was a really, really cool experience. And I'm really glad that Pam came to the idea to make this with our hands. So the original idea of this challenge came by her. So thank you very much, Pam, if you are watching. This is really, really cool. And I think those images come out so, so beautifully here on those cards. So let me show you this one here as well. I think this is my favorite, and it's only because of these golden dots. This makes it so more, how can I say that, so much more elegant, and it gives it another dimension as well, because it's so bling bling, but not so extremely. It's not kitschy, but it's just some kind of elegant. And because of this gold here, I came to the idea that I want to spritz some golden splatters to my cards to make them a little bit more cohesive, because we only have the gold here and not here or here. So I think I will lose the challenge now. I will do something that's not allowed in this challenge, because I want to apply my golden paint with a paintbrush now. Because I'm so afraid to mess this thing up by splattering it with my hands. I mean, I could put my fingers into the golden paint and then splatter, but I think I can't control that. I mean, even with a paintbrush, it's so hard to control. Yeah, so if I have the problem that this challenge now is not fulfilled, I think I can live with that. Okay, so here I think, shall we put it? Woo! Okay, so let's do it with my finger. Tip with the finger here, Louisa, and hope that it gets to the place where you want it. Ooh, that's a little bit really big. Oh, but I think I like that. Okay, so let's try that here as well. Don't know how that will react with the texture paste, with this crackle paste, but I think in the end that will look great as well. Even if it soaks into there a little bit, into this little slots, I'm okay with that. Okay. Since we have that, I think we will add some black splatters as well in between of the gold. Hopefully that will not mess it up. But I have the feeling that we need some of this contrast. This black is really massive on those cards. I mean, I wanted it like that, but perhaps it can be a good idea to have some tiny splatters of black. And of course, I really hope that you like this idea, painting only with your fingers and your hands, and I hope that you will try to do this on your own projects and try that out for yourself. If you want to share something on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, or even on your own YouTube channel, then please use the hashtag #TheCrazyCraftChallenge. You can find that here. I would love to see your ideas on this little crazy challenges that we have here. So this was episode 2 of the Crazy Craft Challenge. There's one left. Next Saturday you will see episode 3 with another topic of this Crazy Craft Challenge, so that will be something totally different than you've seen in the first 2 episodes. I hope you will join us for that episode as well, and if you want to see what Pam has created today with this little challenge here, painting with your hands and fingers, then please go to her channel. The link is down below in the description box. There's also the direct link to her video. Check that out. I'm sure she has done something totally different, but absolutely amazing. I'm sure about that. So I don't know what she has created, because yeah, I'm recording this video at the same time when she's recording her video, and we don't know from each other what we are doing or what we have done. So I'm really excited, and yeah, thank you very much for watching. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was a lot of fun to have you here with me. See you the next time. Bye bye.